is poppin' squad? It is your boy Jesimein, and welcome back to another The Division 2 build video. And today I present to you my work and build skill build. Now, the reason I put in this video up is more of a theory craft because obviously mods are still in need of a fix as far as the scaling, as far as how it works, but this should be enough for you to have an idea of how to build a skill build if you're a medic, if you're a support person, if you want to even maybe do some crazy amounts of damage later on in the game. But as of right now, this is the only way I know how to achieve skill power. I've seen people go way higher, but for me, I'm not going to invest way too much resources into it because it's not that smart. But if you do want to run a skill build right now, this is the only way I could possibly see how. So without further ado, let's get it. So you guys can see, obviously, I am going to be rocking all skill power items, obviously, because I have 8,800 skill power. The mask I'm using is going to be a field protective mask by Providence with 10% skill power, with cooldown reduction and a skill power attribute, as well as the talent empowered, which is going to give you 10% skill power. Going into my chest piece, I also have an Alp Summit that's going to give me cooldown reduction and a 5% skill power buff with 1,623 skill power with capacitive for skill duration. Obviously, the best in slot if you're running a skill build is going to be capacitive, so make sure you invest into that if you want super long, super effective skills. Going into my holster, this is where you can change up. This is where it's going to be basically preference. The reason I chose this is because I wanted that drone skill power to get a little buff to my drones when I use it, especially because they're extremely strong in this game. I have 1,220 skill power, and I also have devastating as weapon damage. I'm going to end up changing that. I'm not sure if I want to keep the weapon damage or probably go with a capacitive on here, being that it is the circle roll, so I'm able to roll that off. Probably not going to do it right now. I don't really need to, but it is an option if you want to get as much duration as possible. Going into my backpack, I have a trash backpack. I would keep the brand Alp Summit, but the rolls skilled and destructive aren't, and they're iffy to me. Maybe if I work like some kind of explosive build, it'll work, but I would probably go with hardened and capacitive as my god rolls. So if you have that, GG. But I also have critical hit chance and obviously skill power on this. Going down to my gloves have accuracy and skill power. I don't really see a best in slot glove other than maybe like a god roll Alp Summit, just because you get high skill power. But this is pretty much preference depending on if you want to run like some kind of DPS, you can put rifle damage, or if you want some protection from release. That's all. It doesn't matter the gloves. But obviously, have skill power on it, you're going to be good. And I will probably take clutch or capacitive as my talents on it. It just depends. My gloves obviously aren't that good, so I'll pretty much have to invest into that later. But you can kind of see the idea. And going down to my knee pads, I'll have some Wyvern knee pads that give me my drone skill, critical hit damage, skill power, and empowered on these as well. Now, right now in this current state, a lot of people are going to say, well, why do you have such high skill power? The mods aren't even worth it to go that high. They probably cap out at like 7,000. Yeah, so right now, this is super overkill. You do not need 8,800. I would say if you break around, I believe the highest I have is like a 7,700, if I'm not mistaken, on some of my mods. So you can see 7,600 right here. I believe that's like one of the highest. So you can pretty much scratch the surface at like 7,700 and still have access to all the current mods in the game and be able to put the skill power to other use. You probably don't have to roll so much skill power. But the reason I put mine as high as possible is because I know higher gear score is going to be higher rolls, even though we don't know the scaling. But as of right now, I'd rather be on the safe side because I can always roll off skill power or switch it up instead of not have enough and then try to change my build. So if you want to run any form of skill build, whether that be support heal, whether that be, I don't know, recon, or maybe a shield tank, so you can be basically a skill tank by having an outrageous shield. Like I'll just show you guys right here. My shield has 700,000 health because of the mods. You can run a lot of different things with this build. And yes, you're going to be squishy, as you should. Stop trying to look for a skill build that's going to make you god roll as far as health and armor and skill. It's not going to work like that. This game is designed for you to choose your role and base it around that. Now, as far as specialists, for me, honestly, I think the best obviously is going to be the survivalist because it has the outgoing healing and it has the talents based around that. That's what you want. You want to be able to be support if you're running skill. But if you want to go more of a damage aspect, the demolitionist would be really good too because you get some explosion damage, and maybe you can go from there if they end up scaling up Seeker Mine and the Bombardier drone and all that stuff. But for me, I think overall, if you're going to run a universal skill build, it's going to be running the Survivalist because Survivalist just has the best capabilities for it, especially because Chem Launcher heals is going to have to be a necessity. I'm working on another build with Firestarter that I'm probably going to share later. But as of right now, I would say the best. And if you're going to run a skill build, always have this heal chem launcher, because it's going to be nuts with the buffs that you get. Like, you can see, like, you get +6 ammo, or let me see. If you can get like +6 ammo, you can get another +4, get extra 10. You can have some cooldown reductions, some big heals. So you can see I have 20% heal right here and another 25% heal right here. You can get some quick burst heals. You can get crazy radius buffs. You see 91%. There's a lot of different options when running this build, which is really cool, especially for the people who want to pick and choose how they want to run their skill build. So basically what you want to do is you want to hit that cap. Try to get as much cooldown reduction as possible while you hit that cap, and then at the same time make sure that you mod correctly. Everybody's skill build is going to be different because everybody's mods are different. It's not like the old days where you can pretty much put a cookie cutter, everybody goes towards it. This is more of a general blueprint, so I'll call it like a blueprint build, I guess, for you to build towards based off what you have, because you can have a million better mods than I have. I know people who have, like, I guess somebody said they have a 30% heal. Somebody else said they have like 160 radius. There's a lot of different mods, and I don't know if the spreadsheets are out on them yet, but you can definitely go really high, because I can tell just because of my skill power requirement being 6,800 and some of them being 7,000 that this radius buff can go extremely higher and end up being a better roll. So you can definitely spec into that. You can definitely make a healer build right now that your teammates will love. You can definitely put on a hive heal and you can do some amazing things, maybe even a reviver. There's a lot of things you can run. If you do end up speccing into skill power, it is definitely worth it in the long run, because obviously it's in need of a buff, right? Skills are just underwhelming in some situations, and I believe that the team is going to be working on it. They've already stated that they're going to lower some of the requirements, so it may be even more efficient if crazy mods come out in low 500 and you need barely like 8,000 to scrape past it and be able to do amazing things. So don't listen to anybody when they say that skill builds are useless. They 100% aren't, but a lot of things are due for change, especially if you're going for a crazy damage right now. The only thing out of all the testing I've done, the only thing that does an amazing amount of damage that you actually feel good is using the Firestarter Chem Launcher, which I will be making a video on that later. But as of right now, if you are going to be speccing the skill power, your best friends are going to be the Chem Launcher, the Hive, the Drone, and the Shield. The other four are going to have some working on, as I've already spoke on. The Pulse is underwhelming, the Turret is Seeker Mines are okay, and the Firefly is just doo-doo. I love the Firefly. It's cool, but it's doo-doo. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, man, let me see if I go to you can see right here, I have Skill, Destructive, Capacitive, Empowered, Terminate, Empowered, Devastating, Optimist, Extra, Recharge. Oh, I almost forgot about my weapons. Make sure you have at least one weapon that's going to have this recharge. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration, charges, and ammo. That's just good to have. And there's another talent that you get cooldowns while getting kills in cover. I forgot what it was called. I don't have it on this one, but pretty sure by now you guys know what talent I'm talking about. Make sure you have that on your secondary weapon, so when you get that long cooldown, especially if you're running Hive, you can get a chance either at getting it back if you run one talent, or the other talent where you just get 20% raw back every time. So make sure you invest into that. If you're going to be running a skill build, you need to be as optimal as possible. Don't try to be jack of all trades. Play your position, play your role, play smart, use high IQ, and you will be a fantastic skill build. So without further ado, I don't want to hold you guys' time up too much. I just want to say thank you so much for chilling with your boy these past week already, going crazy. The channel has been exploding. I have a lot of, branch builds that are going to come out of this. I'm pretty much going to start sharing them, even though I know it's going to be based off of one build. But there's a lot of ways to run this build that I feel people need to know and need to use it, because it's crazy. Skill builds are definitely powerful. They're definitely not left in the dirt like everybody thought they were. Healing is amazing. The damage is going to be amazing, especially after the fix. And who knows, there might even be a better benefit for having super high skill power later. They might change something because they're going to be lowering the caps for the certain mods. So I don't know. Only time will tell. Everybody's already have their two-piece on it. Everybody's been running around with their DPS builds. And, I had to put out something to give my skill power people some hope and at least, lead them in the direction of running an amazing build. So the only other thing I would change, if I can change this build in any way, I would add more skill haste. Because sometimes the cooldowns are overwhelming and they put you in a lot of shitty predicaments. That's why I always say, at least if you're going to run, have a Chem Launcher heal, because that's going to be your best friend, because it has the lowest cooldown and the most burst healing that you're going to get in the game, period, even without the nerfs. Even without the mod buffs that you're going to have. So depending on what you like, whether you like spamming by having ammo, you can see If I go right here, I can add +4 and +6 ammo. If you like spamming heals, if you like having crazy radiuses, where I can go down, put 123% right here, and put another 90% right here, so I can have, like, you can see, having 2 different radiuses depending on which one you get. Collect all your mods because they're going to be able to do crazy things, you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to go crazy duration, you know what I'm saying, you put duration on right there, and probably another duration right here. So you can have, you see, there's different options based off your playstyle that you can do. So make sure you grab every single mod possible, especially for the skill ones. I wouldn't worry too much about anything else other than electronic gear mods. But all of these, with all these buffs, you want to make sure you grab all these because these are actually important, and because of the roles, you need to have them. Let me make sure I mark that. I don't want to lose that. But you can see, like, I'm starting to collect them. I have a lot. I don't have enough because I'm mad that I started deleting them because I wasn't able to reach cap. But now that I'm at the point that I can use them, it hurts that I don't have every single one I had before because I know I had some crazy ones. But yeah, so keep your mods. If your friends don't want them, make sure you collect them. They're literally collectibles right now, and they will change your build. So make sure you invest in that. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I know I talked a little too much, but it's been real. Welcome to Skill Build Nation. Get ready for the builds, man. It's been real. Your boy is out.